So, I have one of the early 2000 2500 Dodges with the V10 in it. Now, as some of you know, the crank position sensor is behind a motor mount on the passenger side. Now, I researched and I could find nothing except for one video where the guy said you had to pull the motor mount after you jacked up the engine to get access to the crank sensor. That's BS. It took me a little while to figure it out, and I'm going to pass it on to you. Let's go for a ride under the ship box. It's going to take a little finagling to get you in there. Alright, there it is on the bottom left. There's a hole there. There's a little bit better. Right behind the motor mount. Kind of hard to focus on it, but you can see. But there is a notch on the side of the motor mount there. But you have to turn the sensor 90 degrees to the right so the tang is on the right side in order to wiggle it out. You cannot pry it out, it'll snap off the tang because that's all plastic. What I did is I managed to get a very small channel lock on the end of the sensor, and as I was prying on the bottom edge, I was wiggling from the top. If you pry from one side, you're just going to get binding and it'll snap off. So the main problem is these get seized into place with rust around the O-ring. So soak her down with some JB, knock her loose, or regular WD-40. You probably should do this over a couple of days. Just keep spraying her down. That way it gets time to soak in there and work on everything. Let's get out of that hole. So after you soak it down, you get yourself a little flat bar. And you grab mine, what I use. It's basically a trim scraper, gasket scraper, whatever you want to call it. And these are my tools right here. Small channel lock and the gasket scraper. Now, it's also held in with a 1/2 inch bolt. Now, your transmission coolant lines are going to be running right underneath it. You can pull the mounting screws that retain it to the motor off. That'll give you a slight amount of wiggle room. Now, if you're feeling froggy, you can yank the whole thing off. I would not do that. That's a waste of time and money. So, now that it's all taken apart, you guys have seen and you know how to do it. The easy part is sticking a little piece of rag in there, cleaning out the debris and the rust that's left in there, and putting the new part in and plugging it in. Now that is how I changed the crank position sensor on a 2001 Dodge Ram 2500 V10. Have a good day.